I'm calling this meeting of the Silver City Town Council to order. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, we have a nice crowd here tonight. We'd like to welcome everybody to the council meeting. We will begin by asking the council any changes to the agenda.
No, sir.
No changes. The next item is council comments. Councilor Bedison.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to let everyone know that we have Grant County Days coming up on January 24th, which is a Wednesday. The night before, on January 23rd, is the Prospectors kickoff in terms of being in the room and finding out what we're going to be doing on the 24th so that everybody knows who's who and what's what. And then on this Thursday at 5 o'clock at the Little Toad Creek, that's our annual kickoff for the Santa Fe trip that Prospectors holds. We invite people to come. We'll talk a little bit about what's going to happen and prepare everyone there. The actual meeting begins at 5:30, so if you can come between 5 and 5:30, that would be great. So I just wanted to announce that so the public knows. And I think the other thing is just to let you all know that I'll be going back and forth quite a bit to Santa Fe, not just because of Prospectors, but also because of my position on the executive committee for the New Mexico Municipal League. I'm the current vice president. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Cano.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy New Year, everyone. I just wanted to share that I spent a good part of the holiday season preparing for being a part of the Q's Christmas giveaway that was hosted by Q's Southern Bistro. Myself and my mother prepared 300 decorated sugar cookies to go out to kids, and it was probably one of the best experiences ever. So I invite anyone else who wants to be involved in that to go see Anthony Quintana at Q's, because he provides a great service to the community. The only thing I have is I have a couple of questions for Mr. Brown, and I didn't get to talk to him before the meeting, so that's why I'm asking him now. A couple of days ago, I was in line at Walgreens, and I happened to watch our recycling truck pull up to Sonic to pick up some stuff. And the gentleman who drives that truck had to get out because there was so much cardboard, and he had to stand on the top of the truck to throw everything in. And I have talked to him since then, and he mentioned to me that they're supposed to me it looked very unsafe. I just thought, oh my God, if somebody runs into this truck, this guy is dead. And he mentioned to me that we have a security bar that needs to be put on the top, and it hasn't been, and I guess it was ordered and has been received, but it hasn't been put on, so I'm hoping that maybe we can do that soon, just because it looks crazy when you're looking at it from... Okay, so...
I will follow up tomorrow, make sure that it's...
I kind of figured, I didn't get to talk to you before the meeting, so thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor, and also Happy New Year to all. My first comment is that the lights downtown, thank you. People have told us thank you. It's very well lit. Another thing is that, and I'm going to say this as a veteran, not as a town councilor. We had a color guard at Western, and we got there at Western for a basketball game. Okay. 9 minutes before the game, or 8 minutes before the game, they pulled off the people, both teams. They pulled off the team from the court. And we went out there and did a color guard. And there was maybe about 20 people in the audience. To me, that was very, very poor taste on Western. I made the comment that I will not go again. Neither will our car guard go again. And they were very disrespectful. If you have something against the veterans, say it. But don't be doing this stuff to the veterans. We give them the right to do this right. That's right. We do give them a right. There's a little vaquero saying that goes, why worry about history being erased when we're so busy repeating it? And that's the bottom line. In my opinion, I hope people take into consideration supporting Western. I know it's a bad thing to say, but in the same token, they have to have respect for us also. And after all, we the taxpayers are paying all these people that are playing sports. We are paying for their education. What more do they want from us? And then, anyway, I won't go there. Another thing is that I've been getting some feedback on there's been way too much cell phone usage on the people, on the public. I know this is a redundant thing, but I hope that somebody doesn't get hurt, and I hope the people start to realize that it is against the law here in Silver to be using your cell phone while driving. With that, have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There are a number of events coming up this month and next month that I think are really wonderful. As usual, there are far too many fun things to do in our little town, but I'm particularly interested in the flamenco exhibit that is opening at the Silver City Museum. This coming Friday will be the opening reception, and then there'll be special tours on Saturday, and then they'll be showing other stuff, and I hear that it is just fabulous, so I'm very excited about that. Also, as a supporter of our library and a board member of the library, the Friends of the Library have their sale on this Saturday. All the books you want to read, boxes of them. So please support our local library. And just for fun, I do want to remind everyone that January is National Hot Soup Month. So I've been cooking soup every Sunday, and I really encourage us all to indulge.
Does the council have any additional comments? Councilor Ray?
Thank you. I forgot one more thing. Talk about the hospital. I had a very unpleasant experience with the hospital. I took my wife to the emergency room, and when she had to go to the restroom, it was very, very dirty, very unsanitary. There was paper towels, Kleenex, toilet paper. I mean, it was very unsanitary. A lady told me last night that her grandmother was in the emergency room, and she had to ask the people there at the hospital to please give them something to clean the room, because it was very, very unsanitary. This is at nighttime. Doesn't the hospital have people to clean places at nighttime? I don't know, but maybe it's something that we should take into consideration and ask them. All this is very, very unsanitary conditions that are bad for people. We're dealing with people's lives there. Thank you.
Councilor Connor?
Yeah. I'd like to respond to what Councilor Ray just spoke about the Western Athletics. I too am very displeased with what is going on at Western right now at athletic events. I can tell you that I am a 21-year fan of Western basketball, and I've been very upset by what's been going on. I do stand with the veterans, and I really wish that Western would potentially consider what's going on, because I think this is a community issue, and if we want to have that bridge between the community and the university be solid, then things like this need to be addressed, and I have gotten a lot of messages and a lot of phone calls about it. So I would actually ask the public, anyone who is concerned about this, who has a strong opinion about it, to reach out to President Joe Shepherd and let them know what's going on, because it's not good for us to be disrespecting our Veterans Color Guard when they are providing a service to our community. Thank you.
Any other comments from the council? I just have a couple of comments. The other day, I looked back at the calendar of all of the things that's been going on in Silver City this past year, and it's overwhelming to think of all the events we have, and even more overwhelming to consider the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of volunteers who make all of that happen. And I want to thank all of our volunteers. Many of you here tonight, I know, are volunteers. The volunteers and you are what makes Silver City a really great place to live, and I just want to thank you. I also want to thank those who came to the assistance of the gospel mission over the period of time when we had the sub-freezing weather. They needed blankets, they needed outdoor warm jackets and gloves and stuff like that, and the community responded really well. And so, once again, it's part of what makes Silver City the great place it is, the people who are willing to reach out and help each other. So, once again, thanks to all of those. The next item on the agenda is approval of minutes of the December 12, 2017 regular meeting. Do I hear a motion? Council Amon Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of the town of Silver City of December 12, 2017.
Is there a second? Councilor Bedison?
I second the motion as stated.
Is there any discussion? Do I hear a motion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is public input. We have quite a few people who signed up, so we're looking forward to hearing from you. I would like to remind you that, in the interest of time, a couple of years ago, the council passed an ordinance that limits public input to 5 minutes each. So if you would try to be cognizant of that, I would appreciate it. First on our list is Anita Williams. And there's a little button up on that. Thank you, Raul. If you please identify yourself and tell us why you're here.
Hi, my name is Anita Williams, and I've been a Silver City resident all of 3 years now. And I said I wouldn't complain or bitch and groan until I've been here for 2 years, so by golly, now I can say something. And these are just concerns. I think Silver City is a wonderful place, and part of my concern is to try and make it a little bit better, and definitely, help expand the economic base a little bit by making perhaps the city more welcoming and more inviting. So my first concern, and I'll just throw these out, I don't have a great big speech about them, is the trash along the roadways. Coming into town on 180 from Bayard, it's just horrible, And just today, we were out cleaning up on 180 on the west side, and it's been cleaned up 3 or 4 times now, so picking up the trash wasn't quite so bad, but it's still, I think it's a matter of public awareness, maybe increasing the public awareness to, keep your trash in your car and go to a trash can and dispose of it properly. Moving right along. My second concern is perhaps putting some local police on foot patrol in town, and particularly along the Big Ditch and areas like that they're very attractive, and they're there for tourists, but sometimes there's some folks in there that are a little unsavory, and maybe they could be discouraged, and I know that is a problem, and there's more to talk about on those issues, but perhaps something to consider. My third concern is the lodger's tax. I'm also, well, right now I'm president of the Rolling Stones Rock and Mineral Club, and we've been receiving the benefit of the lodger's tax for many, many years now. But it seems like every year we have to apply for it, the application process gets more and more onerous. Fortunately, one of our members, her husband is a retired accountant and helps us out on that account, but we're just regular old folks in the volunteer organization, and I wonder if there's perhaps a way to still get what you need without making the application process so onerous. And that's it, and thank you for allowing me this time.
Thank you. Rebecca?
Hello everyone tonight. My name is Rebecca Sasek, but I'm called Bex, B-E-X. So my family runs Finn's Gallery. My auntie and uncle are the proprietors there. And just helping my family out, I realized that especially the downtown district could use another festival to draw local people as well as tourists in. So I've gotten a group together, we're all sitting in the back, and we're creating a festival. We're going to have a parade on Bullard, it takes place on April 14th. A parade on Bullard, a fantasy market in the Big Ditch, and a costume ball in the Vicky's Ballroom in the evening. The concept of the festival is that it is part art, part Earth Day, and part cosplay, which is a costuming hobby that's popular. Our theme will be steampunk, which is the top hats with the little clock parts on them. And we're inviting a lot of organizations and merchants to have activities and to participate with us. So we came tonight just to announce our intention publicly to have this festival, and I'd like to leave some business cards so all of you can look at our Facebook page and see what we're doing. Keep in touch with us. We're also going to be having some fundraising events, and there's posters in the downtown area, and I can leave information about that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jackie Blurton?
Greetings, Mr. Mayor and councilmen and women and staff, and I just want to thank you for all you do in the service of our community. And I'm Jackie Blurton. I'm a board member of the Southwest New Mexico Audubon Society. I'm here tonight to express my concerns and that of our chapter members about ATV trails in San Vicente Creek. These trails run from the old railroad abutment south of San Vicente Farms to the Highway 90 bridge. On our recent Christmas bird count on December 16th, which includes San Vicente Creek, we became aware of the damage being done on the trails on the east slope of the creek and to the creek bottom. And last Saturday, January 6th, we led a field trip of 10 members to see firsthand. The ATVs have widened what once was a mountain biking and hiking trail into an ATV track and are reducing the trail to rocky rubble. They have cut fences and shortcut the trail by going straight down steep slopes and smashing vegetation in the process, which is going to lead to the erosion of the hillsides. We've also found that at the southern end of the creek and adjacent to San Vicente Farms, the ATVs are traveling up the creek bed, making trails in and out of the creek bottom. This traffic is going to affect aquatic life and water quality. My concern is the impact on the bird populations. A pair of common blackhawks has nested here for many years, and people come from all over the country specifically to see this species. I know about tourism. I own the Silver City KOA from 1993 until retiring in 2013. All those years, I worked on the Silver City Grant County Tourism Committee and the Grant County Lodgers Tax Committee, and part of our promotion for attracting visitors to our area were the opportunities for birding, and even better yet, those opportunities were right here in town. And our visitors need not go far to find quality habitat and an abundance of bird species. Our urban trails like San Vicente Creek are also important to our community. They add to the quality of life, sense of community, and pride in our town. And the urban trails also represent a quality of life that people seeking to relocate look for in a community. ATV access at the trailheads below the bridge and at Corbin Street can be eliminated with the installation of a variety of constructions that will still allow hikers and mountain bikers to pass through, but not ATVs. A plan must also be developed to prevent ATV incursion on the southern end of San Vicente Farms and from Sotal Loop on Mountain View Road. There is a total lack of significant signage, and the post signs are woefully ineffective. Large and clearly worded signs should be installed at all trailheads, and a plan for maintaining signage, fencing, and a regular inspection of the trails is needed. I talked to Bob Shiowitz yesterday, and he said I could quote him on what he told me. He is responsible for doing a lot of the work in trails in the creek in Boston Hill, and he advised me that he was last in the San Vicente Creek doing trail work and erosion control this past August. And the only thing he noticed then was perhaps a dirt bike track on the trail. So all the damage that has been done on this in San Vicente Creek and to the trail has been done in the last 3 months. And so if this is true, the damage is just going to get worse. And we already noticed that ATVs are making loops around trees and extending their trails out from the main trail. And I can't express enough how important the preservation of San Vicente Creek is to the community and to the flora and fauna that inhabit it. And we are very lucky to have this prime riparian habitat in our town. Spring migrations are going to begin in April, and our songbirds and blackhawks will be returning. And if we don't do anything to preserve this area and to keep these people out, it's going to degrade the habitat, and we're going to lose a lot, I think. And I'm very glad to see Resolution 2018-2 on the agenda. And thank you very much, and thank you for letting me express my concerns.
Thank you. Ann?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, first off, I want to thank you all for your service. My name is Ann Hudson, and I'm also fairly new to this community. I've been here about 3 years. And my concern, well, first off, I really don't know much about city government or county government. I've never been to a meeting like this. I really don't know how any of it works, so my questions, I don't really even know how my questions ultimately get answered, but I'll state my concerns and ask my questions and see how that goes. So one of the biggest things is, like most people, I notice the trash, a lot of trash on our roads and also at trailheads. And my question is, who's in charge of keeping the roadways and the trailheads and whatnot in our city and council clean? City and county clean. Also, I'm wondering what the laws are regarding littering and covered loads. Are there fines for not having loads covered or for littering? And how are those laws enforced? And I also wanted to mention that along with Anita, Anita and I are doing a class for the Western Institute of Lifelong Learning on trash, oddly enough, and part of that is going out and picking up trash, but the first session is having some speakers, and in fact one of the gentlemen here is going to speak on recycling, but we're looking for some other speakers from the city or the county that might be able to help us. And so if anyone knows of someone, or if they themselves can help, if they would talk to us after the meeting, that would be great. It's just a short, 10 or 15 minutes chat about
what the laws are, that sort of thing. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Terry?
Feels good to be back up here. Thank you, Mayor, council, staff. My name's Terry Timmy. I'm here tonight as president of Southwestern New Mexico Audubon Society and have a number of our chapter members here with me. I'd like to talk to you tonight in sort of a follow-up to what Jackie Blurton was talking about. Our society is very concerned about the incursion of motorized vehicles onto the San Vicente Creek Trail. The local Audubon chapter has a special affinity for this trail as well as Boston Hill and the La Capilla wetlands. Since we published 2 editions of a guide to this, which you should have on your desk, the Greenways Guide, and this was a collaborative effort several years ago. It was primarily funded by National Audubon Society and Audubon New Mexico through our chapter. We had help from the town, from the Gila Native Plant Society, the Arts and Cultural District, Gila Resources Information Project, and the Grant County Health Council. And this brochure, I might mention, is also one of the more popular ones that's handed out at the Visitor Center even today. I'm encouraged that council is concerned about the trails in Silver City and that the town has hired a maintenance person to address the effects of years of neglect. It's also encouraging that you are discussing the creation of a Trails and Open Space Advisory Committee. I hope you will follow up their advice with action. San Vicente Creek is considered a birding hotspot in Grant County. There are at least 39 species of birds that have recorded at that site through a site where people report their bird sightings called eBird. As Jackie mentioned, San Vicente Creek has a nesting site for the common blackhawk. The name common is really a misnomer. It's really rare and only seen in the summer in a few locations in the United States, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. They're designated as species of conservation concern by U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and the state lists them as a threatened species. The bird depends on riparian habitat with clean water where it can eat its ration of crawdads and other aquatic insects. It's easily distributed by excess noise, such as from ATVs. Recent surveys have indicated that there are only about 20 or so nesting common blackhawks in the Gila River Valley and only one on San Vicente Creek. So we're very fortunate to have that one here. It is past time for hand-wringing and platitudes about seeing what can be done about ATV damage on trails. It's time to be proactive. We need to commit to strategies that protect this valuable Silver City gem. I would like to offer 5 suggestions. Number 1, council should adopt an ordinance prohibiting motorized vehicles on town trails with appropriate fines for violations. Number 2, it's essential to develop and maintain signage that clearly states that motorized vehicle usage, such as ATVs, are prohibited with the consequences for violations. 3, physical barriers that discourage motorized vehicles should be established at common entry points to deter those sort of casual abusers. However, the use of number 4, the use of motion-activated cameras and enhanced law enforcement may be the only way to deter those who flagrantly violate the law. Audubon, and finally, Audubon and other concerned citizens are prepared to do our part. We'll help with increased citizen monitoring and reporting of violations to police. I looked at the town municipal codes to see if there was anything there relating to any ordinance relating to ATVs on trails. Didn't find any. However, I did come across Ordinance 1198, which is relating to the use, improvement, and development of town-owned parks, trails, and open spaces by franchisees. In that ordinance, there's this statement, quote, "Whereas the town council finds the existence and protection of parks, trails, and open spaces contributing to the quality of life of its inhabitants, and being attractive and safe are a draw to tourism, which in turn creates economic benefit for the town," close quote. Audubon would like to simplify that statement with what we have as our motto, and I have some bumper stickers back on the table that expresses this: where birds thrive, people prosper. The town of Silver City is extremely fortunate to own most of San Vicente Creek Trail, and this riparian jewel deserves better stewardship. We urge you to protect San Vicente Creek. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sissy McAndrew, there you go.
Thank you. I'm Sissy McAndrew, and I'm here tonight really to just thank you. I think this past year we've made some great headways. As you know, I'm a realtor. I work with United Country Members Realty right down at 414 North Bullard. So I've kind of been the downtown monitor on a lot of things. I've come to speak to you about my concerns on traffic, getting the street light replaced with the flashing light. I think it's made a huge difference. The four-way stop has made a huge difference. The pace of downtown is slowing down, and we can sense it. Really what's moving faster than anything now is we're seeing a lot of people walking downtown, and that's fantastic. And I want to thank you for that. I want to thank the chief. We've really had a lot more of police patrol downtown. It's a safer place to walk. We are not having the problems that we all know have been happening in the past. We're seeing some new individuals, and everybody knows that it's something that we all need to work together on. We need to call the police if we're concerned. They're responding quickly when they do get a call, and I think we all need to really thank them for that. As for the downtown lighting, it's fantastic. It's a little bit of a glare at first, but knowing we're still protecting our dark skies, I know now that the Office of Sustainability is no longer there. I think we also need to reflect back on what we learned from that organization, that there are grants available and that we can work with the utilities and that we can have high-quality lighting that not only is going to save us energy, but it's going to be a long time before those lights burn out. And so that's also going to save us as far as the labor and maintenance of those lights. My only concern right now is that we continue to monitor all of the wonderful things that we've done so far. So as we go back, and we've got the solar panels at the visitor center, and we have other cost-saving devices in city facilities. I hope we continue to monitor our cost savings, because that's really something to be proud of. We've got people coming in every day to Silver City now. We've been found. We've got people wanting to move here for the quality of life and the quality of leadership that we have. So I just want to thank you, and I'm the new president of our local Realtors Association, so within the next month I'll come back with a report, and I think you'll be real proud on where we're going as far as real estate sales here in Silver City. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave Menendez?
So my name's Dave Menzie. I'm here representing Silver City Watershed Keepers, which is a program of Gila Resource Information Project. We work with kids and schools and the general public in terms of watershed health through using San Vicente Creek as a laboratory. We take students down there and we test basic quality of the water, and we organize big ditch cleanups, and we've worked with the Trails Committee that used to be the Grant County Trails Committee. I'm here speaking on their behalf regarding the ATV use in San Vicente Creek. I've lived and worked in New Mexico all my life. I'm a retired geologist, and I have a lot of experience with San Vicente Creek. We started doing Watershed Keepers, I think, in 2009. We Through the auspices of my old job, we applied for and got an EPA grant, about $230,000, to do some restoration work on city property just below San Vicente Farms, starting in 2010. We ran a YCC crew for 3 years every Friday. And one of the things we did was fence off that 58 acres of city property just below and just above Fairway Drive, because we were having issues with ATV use. And the problem with ATV use, I mean, they need a place to ride, but the worst place to ride is in the riparian. It's the most delicate and the most fragile in terms of damaging it that way. And I've talked to Alex Brown before, and he has issued a letter. I forget what kind of administrative action you called that, but that was a letter prohibiting ATV use in the project area and along San Vicente Creek. So I would urge the council to try and address this problem. It's a really thorny issue because ATV users need a place to ride, but they shouldn't be riding down there. So you need to offer some kind of carrot as a place to ride, but you also have to have a stick to tell them they can't ride down there anymore. And we have worked extensively down there, including helping to get the money to clean up the tailings down there by the slag pile. And we'll continue working down there because it's a good program and it's a great outdoor laboratory. And that's about all I have to say. Thank you. Ron?
I apologize, Mayor. I thought that was an attendance sheet, so I'm just here for the throw and open.
Okay, thanks.
I'll take my wife's advice and just take it.
I'd like to thank everybody for that input. I just need to let you know that the agenda directs our meeting, so we can't respond individually to you. However, hope you notice that councilors are writing down your name and writing down your issue. I have been, and we want to meet with you one-on-one, and so please contact any of the councilors or myself, and you can do that by going online and getting the information from the town's website. Okay, and I know I've been talking to some of you already, and I can assure you that Mr. James Marshall, who is over our trails, is aware of this issue, and he has been looking at how to solve it. Next on our agenda are reports, and Mr. Raul Torrieta, go ahead.
Well, good afternoon. I want to say good morning, good noon, good afternoon. It's been a very long day. And I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone, and Commissioner Cano and Commissioner Ray, I do sympathize. I'm proud to be a veteran, and I'm so glad that you went ahead and said that. Cynthia Bedison, I will be seeing you up in Santa Fe, because I'm going to be up there quite a lot. And Linda Amos Smith, I just wish I had one of your bowl of soups right now. Mayor, I've known you for a very long time. I think you're doing a fantastic job. Not only that, I've known you from the church. You were my Boy Scout leader. And you're right, all these events, we are a holiday destination for everywhere. And maybe someday, I would like to be one of the volunteers if it's okay. Thank you very much. I would like to start off, I know through the agenda where it actually states where, I was going to talk about Charter Day. However, I just want to get this out of the way. It's the rendition period for the County Assessor's Office. What happens there is, and it's a very short presentation, so like I said, see, I know you guys, right? So, correction taxpayers information, okay, under statute 738-8, New Mexico is a self-rendering state, and what I mean by that is under the personal property is actually a rendition period, okay? The property is responsible for February 28th, from now until February 28th, all subject to property from January 1, from the official county assessors. Change of ownership, new construction, additions, change of address. It is the responsibility of the property owners that the assessors have not received the value, and we do send out a notice of valuation in April if it's correct or incorrect. Once again, the responsibility is on the taxpayers itself. Limitation of the residential property. The limitation refers to residential property did not change ownership prior to January 1 of the tax year. Property shall increase no more than 3%, and the reason why we do have a cap. If I'm a 2-year cycle on my reappraisal, it's actually 6%, and that's every 2 years. The limitation does not apply on residential property valued the first time, physical improvement that have made in prior tax years, changes of ownership, solid transfers, or non-residential property, and that also means vacant land. The limitation of property residence, and it's quite simple.
Mr. Torrio,
Yes.
I know you have some interesting information, but we really need to...
Okay, I'll get going, yeah, okay. I only got one more slide on that, okay? And matter of fact, on the 3%, it's actually in the full value, it's not in the taxable value or the net taxable value. So you're looking at it on the front end. And once again, in a way, I was hoping that they would actually, and this is pretty much the last of it. That we do the 3%. On the elderly, and this is what I really would like to discuss for everybody, if you're 65 and older on a combined income of $32,000 or less, you actually qualify for a freeze in valuation, okay? The tax rate does change, but the value stays the same. If you're a veteran or head of household, you get $2,000 off of your taxable value, and if you're a veteran, it's $4,000, and once again, for the veterans, if you're 100% disabled, you do get off the tax rolls. And I do have a rule of thumb, if you have 5 acres and your primary home, you'll be up the tax rolls. I do stand for questions.
Okay, are we ready for temperature?
Yes, we are, I know. Okay. Thank you so much for, pushing it along. I would like to start off Silver City Territorial Charter Day, February 17th. Okay, hold on. Okay, Silver City Territorial Charter Day, February 17th of 2018. I would like to start off with the committee. We do have a very, very strong committee from Guadalupe Cano, Kevin Cook, Patricia Madrid, Cissy McAndrews, Mike Morones, Joe Ray, Tommy Ryan, Nicholas Seibel, Nick, and Scott Terry, Raul Turrieta, Danny Vasquez, and Avia Villarreal, and Charmaine Waite. And like I said, I'm going to send you all this information. Matter of fact, I sent that on over to Annie. So we do have flyers where it shows the celebration of Silver City Territorial Charter Day, Saturday, February 17th. And it's kind of squishy because I had to stretch it and do all kinds of stuff. Silver City is the only community which operates under the charters which predicts the New Mexico statehood. Okay, we are going to have events from local officials, okay, Old West styles of battles, reenactment, and I know we're not going to have the gunfight downtown Silver City. We are going to have the buffalo soldiers and horses, the 5K run, and not only for adults but also children. It's going to be really interesting because I'm getting a lot of phone calls on that. We are going to have live music. Hopefully, Mr. Cordova is going to be coming down. Minor activities, historical tours, and volunteers in community services and opportunities. Thanks to Gary Staley. Matter of fact, he's in the house. However, Kevin Cook, he's actually going to do Dr. Virginia Malcolmore from the New Mexico Bureau of Geology, Mineral Resources, will speak on history, mining in this area, and venues needed in this area also. Several members of the Cooney Mining Club of New Mexico Tech will also give demonstration on gold panning, jacketing, drilling, and also be able to handle steel and log sawing. Larry Crotts, local residents may be available to provide an exhibit of some mining effects. So I'm going to send you all this information, so if you want more information, you can contact the individuals that are working on the individual events. Gary Staley, another guy that I've known for a million years, he's the Community Youth Builders. We do have the 4 to 8 day calendar year and responsibility for the citizen volunteer work, and I know you got a hard copy of this. requires the state of the charter. Okay, charter service is satisfying the 2 days, and it's actually in your charter, and if you read it, matter of fact, I'll read it before charter day. He's going to come out with some dates that we can pick, March the 17th, April 14th, June 9th, or the 30th, August 4th, or the 11th, or November 10th, or the 17th. We require the importers to select 4 dates to publicize to solicit volunteers. We also request on March 15th, each counselor should suggest a project to these perspectives in your own prospective district, okay? And we'll consider to deliver it to Alex Brown or a guy by the name of James Marshall. How you doing, James? Building project is every year, okay? We do need volunteer. We want to build it up more and more each year. And let me just say, this is our first year. And Gary, if you have anything to say by any chance?
Not after that.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I guess we've actually put all this thing together, and I thank you, Gary, for meeting with me yesterday. We are going to have a reenactment for the 1878. Our Mayor Ken Lanner, be our governor. Mike Morones, I spoke to him today. He'll actually reenact as the senator. Tommy Ryan will be actually our marshal, and yours truly, your county assessor, Raul Torrieta, will be the representative. Hopefully that I can actually have a cart and buggy and the whole scene, so I'm working at that. I have some contacts out of Tucson, Arizona. Good luck on the election for Silver City, Baird, Hurleywood, and Santa Clara. So anybody that's running for office in all the municipalities, good luck. That's all I got to say. Thank you. Any questions?
Councilor Livingston.
So I was a little bit confused about the request for the March 15th date. Is that when you want us to present options?
That is correct, on whatever perspective fall for your district, yes. That's on March 15th.
Okay, I just, FYI, March 15th of this year and that whole week, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be in D.C. at the National League of Cities. So I will be requesting that the council change its meeting to the following week, because I will not be able to be here because I leave on a Saturday to come back till Friday. So I just want to make sure that when we're suggesting dates like that, that it's, in conjunction with letting folks know, letting the council know before we do it publicly, just so that we can arrange to do things, because my commitment to making sure that Silver City is represented in D.C. and through my position on the New Mexico Municipal League Board of Executive Committee, I think it's really important that I make sure that the folks in D.C. know that what we need here in our community and throughout New Mexico.
Yeah, the idea, Councilor, is that we give you the opportunities to suggest projects from within your own district. That can be done anytime to Alex or James.
So we could do it in February or something
Absolutely.
like that. Okay,
We just need a deadline, because when we set our 4 dates throughout the calendar year for the volunteer projects, we'll need to have those projects identified, prioritized, and outlined ahead of time.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And coming February, I will actually have the proclamations for not only the town of Silver City for Charter Day, we're also going to do it for the county commissioners meeting, and also hopefully a Senate memorial, a joint memorial, and coming up in hopefully for Prospectors Day. And this is a political world we live in, and I would just like to announce my candidacy for the Grand County Assessor's Office come 2018, but I don't want to confuse it with anybody else. It will be in June and November. Thank you very much.
And I want to thank all of those who have been working on that committee for the Territorial Children's Celebration Days. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, and you guys have a wonderful evening.
Next item is staff reports. Mr. Brown.
Madam Council, the only report that I have is one that you asked me to give, and it's an update on the Office of Sustainability. As you know, Denise Smith left the position that we had open for the Office of Sustainability, but we started that program back in 2008 when we got the ERA money for the grant, and we used it as a learning experience. What we've realized when James and I sat down and thought that where should we move, and should we fill the position again. And we started realizing that the actual staff working at the Office of Sustainability, they were just basically had become grant writers, and were looking for opportunities for grants and things like that. But the main goal of the Office of Sustainability was to build a culture within the town staff departments, a culture of always looking, every time they work on a project or a repair or anything like that, their first thought is, how do we look at something sustainable first? Is it realistic? Is it going to cost us more than it's going to benefit us? That cost-benefit analysis is always thinking. That's one of the first thoughts that goes into working on a project. And we believe that the culture of the town staff has grown sufficient and understands sustainability enough now that we don't actually need somebody there to remind us all the time. And so we've actually used that money and moved it over to the trails staff, because we feel that the general staff, all the department heads, supervisors, already have that culture ingrained in them. I mean, for instance, the lights downtown, like Sissy talked about. Somebody mentioned that it was dark downtown, and that came as a result of the tourism coordinator taking surveys. She threw that out there and mentioned that was just one sentence of a report that she gave me. And I talked to Eddie from facility maintenance. First thing he did was go and talk to P&M and talk to a contractor that we had been working on for the LED lighting, and change out different projects we had been doing for different buildings. And within a month, we had already found out that the change-out project was going to cost us around $13,000. Our rebate from P&M was approximately a little over $6,000. So our out-of-pocket cost was around $7,000. Our annual savings on electricity is $3,200. So our return on investment is a little over 2 years on that one project. And it's because that happened because a problem was identified. And the first thing that we did look at was ask that question. What can we do on the sustainability side, renewables, LEDs, solar. We're working on a solar project maybe at the library. We're working on one. So we're still doing that very heavily. But, with the limited resources that we have, we felt that staff is always doing sustainability, looking at sustainability stuff. But we don't have anybody to always work on trails. And so that's where we moved. Rather than replace the Office of Sustainability staff, we did the trails thing. And that's where we're at and why we're at that situation right now.
Any questions? Councilor Smith?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown. One of the things that I have always really valued about the town of Silver City was the forward-looking aspect in terms of environment, sustainability, saving us all money. And I do know that there have been things like workshops in green infrastructure and work on solar stuff, but I want to respectfully request that somehow we manage within the town to continue to have a searchable word of sustainability that comes up. And I'm saying that because today I was looking at the town websites of a variety of other towns, just to see. And if you search for sustainability, I wanted to see what came up. And often it was a series of pages that listed projects just like that, give testament to the forward thinking of the town and the work of the town. So I want to put that out there, that I don't want to I know the action is not going away, but I also want to somehow sustain the word sustainability when people think of the town of Silver City. Thank you.
Any other comments? And I think,
I just wanted to, one other thing. We're working with P&M, and they have donated a vehicle charger, electric vehicle charger. It's going to be installed under the solar carport at the visitor center. So, we're still, so P&M came to us with that, us and Santa Fe. It's a pilot program, and they looked at the two most forward-thinking, sustainable communities that they know, and they chose Santa Fe and us. So.
and you had a report as well?
Yes, to the folks out there in TV land and in our audience, I wanted to talk about our election coming up on March 6th, 2018. Today was the day for persons to file for their candidacy in any of those elective offices. So I wanted to announce the people that filed. So for the position of mayor, Ken Ladner and Timothy J. Montez filed. For the position of councilor, District 2, Linda D. Amon Smith and Patricia Eileen Kingsley filed. For councilor in District 4, Guadalupe E. Cano and Nicholas H. Prince filed. And for municipal judge, Sonia Ruiz filed. Also, as a little extra information, absentee voting will begin at City Hall on January 30th and end on Election Day, March 6th. Early voting on the voting machine tabulator will begin on February 14th and end the Friday before Election Day, which is March 2nd. And anybody wishing to vote in our election needs to register with the county clerk by February 6th. And just as another reminder, if anyone has changed their name, their address, they need to be sure to update that with the county clerk by February 6th. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. We had a request for a short break. Do I have a motion? Councilor Edison?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I move for a short break.
Okay, is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that, Mr. Esposito.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We'll have a short break. Be back soon. We're now back in session. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business. Item 10A is the approval/disapproval of ordinance number 1265, an ordinance amending Chapter 28, Sections 28-22, Office Created, and 28-27B, Compensation, of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Silver City. Mr. Brown?
Mayor and Council, this NOI was put in place to make some clarifications as far as the office of the judge, to clarify that the judge is not an employee that creates who receives benefits such as vacation and sick leave. Being an elected official, they are not required to take vacation or sick leave when they are not in the office because they're an elected official. And that is the true intent of the NOI. We brought it to you to make those clarifications. We have not received any feedback since the NOI was passed, so that I stand for some questions.
Questions? Do I hear a motion? Councilor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve of ordinance number 1265, an ordinance amending Chapter 28, Sections 28 through 22, Office Created, and 28-27B, Compensation of the Code of Ordinance of the Town of Silver City.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Councilor Edison?
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
Any discussion? Roll call, please. I'm sorry, Councilor Kano?
Thank you, Mayor. I am going to be voting nay this evening, and my reasoning, I went over the questions that I asked at the last meeting, and I'm still not pleased with the fact that this could have been done in the last 4 years and was left until the day of filing day for it to be changed. So because of that, I'll be voting no. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please. Or any other comments or discussion? Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Edison? Aye. Councilor Amos Smith? Aye. Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Kano?
Nay.
Motion carries 3-1. The next item requiring action is under agenda item 11, new business. The first item under new business is 11A, the approval/disapproval of resolution number 2018-01, open meetings. Ms. Mackey?
Yes, Mayor and Councilors, this is our annual open meetings resolution that says the town of Silver City conducts their meetings according to the state's Open Meetings Act. Nothing changed since last year with the resolution. It's the same. The only change, of course, is our meeting dates for 2018.
Any questions, comments? Councilor Smith?
Thank you. One comment, and I always make this when we do this, and that is that our Open Meetings Act is something that is required, but also we want to have a transparent government. But this also applies to all of the actual town-sanctioned boards and advisory boards. So folks need to know that the Open Meetings Act is not just for the council, it's for all kinds of meetings that go on within the town.
Councilor Edison?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to make a further clarification. It's the different boards, advisory boards, and then decision-making boards that we have within our ordinances.
Right.
Because one of the things that's been asked of me a number of times is whether or not the Silver City Museum Society has to follow this.
No.
They do not, because they are a separate 501c3 that supports the museum, but they are not a town board. There is the Silver City Museum Town Board, but that's different from the society. So I just want to make sure that anyone who's listening, because I've had members of the society ask me this, and I've explained it several times, that they do not need to follow it. They are separate 501c3. So just want to make sure we know. So thank you.
Any other comments? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Amos Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 2018-01, open meetings.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions or comments from the general public? Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Edison?
Aye.
Councilor Amos Smith? Aye. Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Kano?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item is 11B, the approval/disapproval of resolution number 2018-02, a resolution authorizing a Trails and Open Space Advisory Committee for the town of Silver City. This resolution is being sponsored by myself and Councilor Ray, and we've asked Mr. Marshall if he would please give us a little background on the evolution of the Trails Committee and the reason for this resolution and how the committee would be structured and the role of Mr. Marshall or Jamie Emick, the committee, and the Trails maintenance person in this organization. Mr. Marshall?
Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you. Several months ago, the mayor had requested that we put together a group of interested Trails citizens and make sure that we provided them an avenue to provide input straight to the town that we could turn into actionable items. And so we did that, and it ended up being about 5 of us in my office once a month for about an hour. And then it ended up being 7, and then it was 12, and then it was 15, and we definitely moved out of my office. And there apparently was a large gap being felt by the entire county as far as trails issues and advocacy. And so if you look at the latest agenda of the Silver City Trails Group, it's now the Grant County Trails Group. We became an agenda item on a bigger platform, and that's fine. And there is an integration where our trails and the political boundaries of the town intercept with the county, and they definitely do integrate. However, the town has somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 acres of open space, and I can't remember the last time we actually did the mileage, but it was 20-some miles of trails within the town. And it's really critical that we have a focus on those areas, the local trails and open space, and make sure that the citizens that are using those on a day-to-day basis have a way to provide input to the town. It also allows us an avenue to work in coordinating some of the projects that the volunteers bring forth. There is a significant number of volunteers that will do hard labor out on the trails, and we definitely want to make sure that that's coordinated so that they don't end up working against each other. And this tool is an avenue of making sure that it's formal in the town, it's recognized, and that the mayor and council have say in the actual formal committee. The structure would be the 7 members that are in the resolution. Obviously, and according to the last resolution, it will be a public meeting, so anybody can attend and participate. We'll elect a chair. Jamie Ambick has been designated as an additional duty as the Trails and Open Space Coordinator for the town. So she will provide the staffing that the committee needs and make sure that the proper documentation is done and that we get our notices out and track the projects that we're doing. We've been tracking the list that we're provided and then the actions as they go forward, and we'll make sure that that's formalized through this process. And a lot of the issues and concerns that we currently have, if you listen to the theme of public input tonight, it was the ATV abuse on the trails. And a lot of that problem is coming off of private property into both public property and private property to private property to private property. And there's several private property owners on San Vicente and PA creeks. So there's been a huge amount of time, effort, and funds put into acquiring some of that land, as well as acquiring access to some of it through trail easements. That takes significant effort by staff in making sure that we get that paperwork. We have to do surveys. Sometimes we have to have appraisals. We have to make sure that we go out there and get on the ground and make sure that we don't repeat some historical mistakes and put the easement where there's no trail. So we do all of that at the staff level in concert with the volunteers, and then we prepare the package that either comes forth to Mr. Brown for his administrative action or to the council if that's so required. So that's what we'll continue to do. We do have the trails maintenance staff that is currently working, and he currently meets with certain trail advocates every week, and there's just a ton of projects. There's down fences, there's trees over fences, there's some grading and drainage work that'll make the trail a little more passable in many areas, and we now have the the resource dedicated to doing that.
Any questions? Councilor Edison?
So it's kind of a question and comment. The first part is I just want to say I'm very pleased to see this today. This resolution is coming forward to create this. And I'm hoping that we would be able to work with finding some solutions to some of the issues that were brought up tonight with talking with Albuquerque Open Space and Trails, because they have really been active in combating this. And I know that they're much larger than we are, but that doesn't mean the solutions can't be used in our community as well. So just a suggestion. And then to those who spoke tonight, I hope that some of you are going to submit an application to be appointed to the Trails and Open Space Committee. So, but I'm very pleased by this. And I'm really pleased to hear that we have so many people out there that are willing to help with our trails. All these volunteers that are out there willing to help with our trails and willing to help in the protection of our trails. And this is town staff as can be done. So thank you very much to the co-sponsors of this, and thank you, Mr. Marshall, for talking about what's going on with the appointment of Jamie Envick as the Trails and Open Space Coordinator.
Any other comments or questions? Councilor Amon-Smith?
I too am thrilled and it's becoming formalized. I understand the difference between a formal town advisory group and a informal advocacy group, and that when the town has a formal group, advisory group, that's a clear signal that projects are going to flow in a particular manner. And so I just want to recognize that. I too am sick at heart with the destruction that has gone on with some of the trails. Absolutely devastated. And so I know that this group, as well as some other active groups, are going to be working on that. So we all got to work together to keep the beauty that we have around us. So thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, too.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I'll address a little bit of what's been going on. I did get a phone call from Ms. Burton a couple weeks ago, and so we have been having some discussions in the office, discussions with the police department on opportunities for modifying patrols. I've had some discussions with Mr. Brown on some different techniques that we might try, and Dustin, our trails guy, has actually encountered some of them and been able to provide real-time education. And got a kick out of one of them that was tearing up Boston Hill and then ran out of gas. So, made it easier to find. So we're definitely working on that, and we've had discussions with Mr. Troy as well for several months now about this exact topic, and it's really a tough topic because we definitely want to preserve the beauty of the trail and that whole corridor and not have to fence it all off and make it industrial, but keep it as natural looking as we can. Well, at the same time, you put up barriers, they're ATVs. They go around them and they tear them up, and it's just a plain disrespect for others and public and private property.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Ray?
I have a comment, Mr. Marshall. Getting back to the ATVs on Boston Hill, there is some private land by the college on that side, right there by Cheyenne Street and all that. There are some tracks there of ATVs there that I have seen myself. Now, does it, I don't know if it includes part of the city property or their property, but just to let these people be aware that there are some ATVs that go up there.
So that's currently a major concern that we have, and it really makes our job difficult. There is a lot of private property on Boston Hill. When you look at the map that's at the door tonight, a lot of these trails, you're trespassing if you're on them. They're in this brochure. So when you see a sign that says no trespassing private property, please respect it, because we are trying to negotiate with that property owner to acquire access. And when the signs get torn down and there's vandalism on their property, the meetings that we have with them are not pleasant, because I end up being a whipping post rather than actually trying to negotiate a solution. So there's also some BLM property up there. So over off of Truck Bypass, just to the northeast of Truck Bypass, there's some people camping. BLM's aware of it. We cannot get rid of them because it's federal property. There's some BLM land over off of Cooper Street, and there's a lot of private property on Cooper Street. So either way, leave no trace, whether you're on private or public property, but respect the signs that are up there. We are looking at some additional signage for ATVs, but I don't want to make it a big billboard all over our trails where we post the entire code of ordinances on how to behave.
Thank you for that explanation. Thank you, sir.
Any other comments or questions? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to, I lost my pen. I move to approve. I lost it. I move to approve resolution number 2018-02, a resolution authorizing a Trails and Open Space Advisory Committee for the town of Silver City.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor?
Is there a second? Councilor Kano?
Will second that motion as stated?
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions or comments from the general public? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. My name is Sarah Boyette, and I'm also with the Audubon Society, but I live on Chihuahua Hill, and I use the Lacapillo Wetlands Trail almost daily, and it's been a real concern to me that the garbage receptacles there do not seem to be emptied on any regular basis, and it's particularly disturbing the dog waste receptacles that also are sometimes overflowing. I see there's been some recent work along the trails, but it's been a concern of mine on the upper, I don't know if that's upper or lower, closer to the cemetery portion of the trail. The gravel's completely washed out. The black plastic underneath is a real hazard for jogging because you can't tell where the surface is. I've almost twisted my ankle a few times, and so when the group that's going to be working on that trail is ready to do so, I'd be happy to help volunteer work on it, but the garbage, I know, is a town issue, and so I wish that could be addressed fairly regularly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on the ordinance that was recently read? Ron?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilman, for this opportunity. And I just want to say I really appreciate the city facilitating the meetings that we've had today. And I'm somewhat to blame with a grant that we received for $100,000 to do trails and open space work here in Silver City. And as I prepared that grant, writing the grant with the help of a number of people here, including you, Mayor. One of the real challenges was to look beyond these political boundaries, beyond the city, beyond, it wasn't the county, it was the Santa Clara, and trying to tie the Continental Divide Trail and the Gateway Trail. And so when you really look at this trails and open space issue, you really have to think beyond just these city limits. With that said, the real focal point in my opinion, is the visitor center and how it kind of stems out from there and spokes out to meet places like Fort Baird, and how to tie all of this system in, and hence why these meetings, I think, kind of created this momentum where we have the mayor of Santa Clara there the other day. So there was a number of, it keeps growing, and we hope that Mayor Hurley will be involved in this. But to try to tie all of these things together, I just really appreciate the city's willingness to facilitate those meetings, and I hope the city won't look at, because we wrote the county on that, it's really the Silver City in that greater area, and it was the contractor we hired that wrote Grant County on that. Love the fact that Misha Larish is looking at a comprehensive trails and open space planning effort, maybe at a county level. It's not formalized by any means, and I don't want to say they're committed to that, but there is some enthusiasm for that potentially. And so I just, and then the last thing I want to say is, for the city, you might really strongly consider somebody on the ground as a salaried person or something, even part-time, to knock on doors to expand, whether it's the Pinos Altos Trail, the San Vicente Trails system. There's a lot of acquisition work to do out there, and acquisitions, as you all know, are as much opportunistic as they are planning. And so when you see something in the course of those planned trails, you guys have a great plan at the city level that you guys have prepared. But when you see an acquisition that could potentially happen because a property comes available for sale, if there's somebody out there that is always on top of that, it would be really beneficial. So those are just my only comments.
Okay,
thank you.
And I think Mr. Marshall's commented to me already that the agenda will not exclude anybody. Is that right, Mr. Marshall?
Mr. Mayor, as Mr. Troy explained, I think this committee has gotten, their scope has gotten very broad. So we're going to continue to participate in that as well. But with this resolution, we'll be able to give the tender loving care to the town of Silver City's assets.
Okay, thank you. One more comment, go ahead.
Just wanted to say thank you again for letting us make a presentation and public comment, and that we are very grateful to see Resolution 2018-02, and would like to offer our help and service and comment if needed, and participate in this as well, and we're looking forward to seeing progress.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Kyle?
Aye. Excuse me.
Councilor Wright?
Aye.
Councilor Anderson? Aye. Councilor Betts?
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. And again, we want to thank you all for being here tonight, and I can assure you that that's going to be one of our high priorities, is dealing with this particular issue. So, thank you. Next item is 11C, the approval/disapproval of a special dispenser permit application and a waiver of NMSA 1978, Section 60-6B-10, for alcohol sales near a church or school for the Gila Multiple Specialty Independent Practice Association's annual healthcare Privada Dinner Banquet, to be held January 26, 2018 at the Murray Hotel, 2000 West Broadway Street, Silver City, New Mexico. Alcohol service will be from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Liquor license holder is WNN Enterprises Incorporated, DBA Snappy Mart number 204, liquor license number 0151, Post Office Box 559, Silver City, New Mexico 88061. And I think Ms. Van Ness is going to address us on it.
Councilors, Mayor, thank you so much for your time. Our organization is 20 years old, and we aim to support providers in the community who who treat and take care of all of our residents. And this is one of the few times a year that we're able to get everyone, to herd all the cats, so to speak, to come to one place to collaborate and have some camaraderie. And we're blessed with the opportunity to have the president-elect of the National American Medical Association speak to our group. And so I would just ask that you consider our request. We're going to have a nice, relatively well-behaved dinner, and it would be great if we could offer a beverage, an alcoholic beverage, to the guests that come.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the council? Do I hear a motion? Councilor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve of a special dispenser permit application for the Gila Multi-Specialty Independent Practice Association Annual Healthcare Provider Dinner Banquet to be held on January 26, 2018 at the Murray Hotel, 200 West Broadway Street, Silver City, New Mexico. Alcohol services will be from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Liquor license holder is WNN Enterprises, Inc., DBA Snappy Mart, number 204, liquor license 0151, P.O. Box 559, Silver City, New Mexico 88061, and they have a letter here from St. Vincent's that we grant a waiver of New Mexico statute annotated 60-6B-10 of the prohibition of dispensing of alcohol in the 300 foot of a church or school being okay by the church.
I think you might have had the old version of that. This is the new version. Would you mind reading that?
Okay, we'll start all over again. Thanks, James. I move to approve of a special dispenser permit application and a waiver of NMSA 1978 Section 60-6B-10 for alcohol sales near a church or school for the Gila Multi-Specialty Independent Practice Association Annual Healthcare Provider Dinner Banquet to be held on January 26, 2018 at the Murray Hotel, 200 West Broadway Street, Silver City, New Mexico. Alcohol services will be from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Liquor license holder is WNN Enterprise, Inc., doing business as Snappy Mart, number 204, liquor license 0151, P.O. Box 559, Silver City, New Mexico 88061.
Thank you, Councilor Ray. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Cano?
Second that motion is stated.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is 11E, the approval/disapproval to reschedule the regular...
No, D.
Oh.
Kind of hard number.
Oh, when I took my page out, I put it back in the wrong place there. I got it. Next item was 11D, the approval/disapproval of election workers for the regular municipal election to be held on March 6, 2018. Ms. Mackey?
Yes, Mayor and Councilors, this is our list of election workers for this year's election. At the Voting Convenience Center, we have 5 people, and they've all had election training many times in the past. And then for City Hall, we've got our 3 folks for the absentee and early voting, and they've all been trained previously in the past. Then we have a list of alternates in case anybody gets sick. So I'm requesting your approval, please.
Okay, any questions? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Connell?
I move to approve of election workers for the regular municipal election to be held on March 6, 2018.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion as stated.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The next item is 11E, the approval/disapproval for resolution, to reschedule the regular council meeting scheduled for January 23, 2018 at 6 p.m. to January 30, 2018 at 6 p.m. at the Grant County Administration Center. The reason for this agenda item is that some of the council members, including some of the city staff, will be attending meetings in Santa Fe at the legislative session. Any questions from the council? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Bedison?
I move to approve to reschedule the regular council meeting scheduled for January 23rd, 2018 at 6 p.m. to January 30th, 2018 at 6 p.m. at the Grant County Administration Center.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Lehman Smith?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion as stated.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Before we quit, I forgot to say something earlier when we were dealing with the trails resolution. And I want to personally thank Mr. James Marshall for the way that he carried this whole process through. He's helped to make this a really successful project. And thank you, Mr. Marshall. I appreciate that. This concludes the business of the town of Silver City. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor
I
Lehman
move to
Smith.
adjourn.
Is there a second?
I move to. I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilor Ray. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.